testosterone is starting to drop like crazy. It used to be 40s when it starts to drop. Now it's mid 30s. It's starting to get to the late 20s. So we're starting to drop now, you know?
Which is why this conversation is more relevant than ever and why people are starting to feel a little more comfortable about it. But regardless, what we're talking about, prohormones, will more than likely always be in this tiny little niche, just because a lot of people think, well, if I'm going to take this, I might as well just take the full steroids. But the reality is it's a far different experience.
Anavar by High-Tech Pharmaceuticals, the prohormone, not the steroid. And the company claims great things, obviously. And the users online, they say it works. But when you look at the ingredient label, there are an enormous number of ingredients listed under a proprietary blend. So, is this just another overhyped, expensive product filled with nonsense? Or is it worth taking? Let's find out.
You are now in the presence of a king.
So in conjunction with my research, I wanted to dive a little deeper on a market level, on a local level, to see what people were saying about Anavar. So I decided I was going to go to a local nutrition shop here in Houston called Total Nutrition. Lo and behold, I got to meet with one of the top prohormone experts in Texas, Aaron Solomon, who is equally passionate as he is experienced with prohormones and happens to be the #1 seller of high-tech pharmaceutical products in Houston.
Whoop, there we go.
We're good. We won't get that. We won't do that part. Yeah. So more to come on that in a minute, but for now, let's go ahead and break down Anavar. And it ain't all sunshine and rainbows today, folks. When you hear the name Anavar, what immediately comes to mind? I'm thinking of the big butt, tight-waisted Instagram influencers. But here's a little known fact. High-Tech Pharmaceuticals actually purchased the trademark name, so the name Anavar is now officially a prohormone, not a steroid. So I was doing a little digging, and I discovered that this past August, High-Tech Pharmaceuticals actually sued the company Bauer over their product Anvarol, because apparently that name is too closely tied to Anavar. I mean, I don't really see that, but I did some more digging, and I saw that they filed over 73 lawsuits against companies over the years to protect their trademarks. So this company means business. Anyway, back to the breakdown of Anavar. Anavar boosts nitrogen retention, which creates an anabolic environment for the body for your muscles to grow and look a little fuller. And it also inhibits the rise of cortisol. Human research has shown that cortisol, when administered into the body, creates a catabolic effect, which ultimately reduces testosterone levels, the blood levels, increases body fat, and halts all tissue growth, so no muscle growth. AKA lower cortisol improves recovery time and lowers body fat. Now this next claim, it is true, but it really grinds my gears. Now I'm going to get kind of technical just for a second, but I'm going to make it super easy to understand. I'm going to make it worth your while. This is all going to be worth it, I promise. Anavar reduces SHBG, which is sex hormone binding globulin, which if lowered would prevent the liver from metabolizing testosterone, thus freeing up more testosterone in your body for gains. But the rub here for me is that no matter what androgen you put in your body of any kind, it's going to lower your SHBG. So why, when I go on the High-Tech Pharmaceuticals website for Anavar, is it listed for Anavar, but no other prohormones? What, did they just run out of benefits and they need to add just one more? What is this? Is this some kind of sales strategy? I know you're probably thinking, this is too detailed. We don't need to get into this. However, remember, this prohormone company is the only company that's really putting this information out there. And as the leading prohormone company in the United States, it is imperative that they get this information spot on. We're not just picking up fish oil at the grocery store here. We're changing our body's chemistry. And if misused, though it's not a steroid, it can still cause harm. Also, I'm a marketer, I understand, but please, for the love of God, can we stop using markety, salesy terms like anabolic punch? This isn't Donkey Kong versus Captain Falcon in some geared up game of Super Smash Brothers. This is real life with real people living in this reality, trying to make a difference in their lives, trying to be better. Oh, kind of lost my cool there for a second, but that's okay. That's what this is all about, passion. Anavar, ingredients, let's get it. 180 tablets, 1,900 milligrams of the Extend RX proprietary blend. Kind of sounds like a dick pill. Now, I'm not saying the proprietary blends can't be effective. I really just don't like it when companies hide the amount of ingredients because we don't know what we're getting. Is this truly some secret, trade secret formulation? Or is this just a way to hide underdosed ingredients to pad your margins? I don't know. But what I do know is that this statement right here is concerning.
There's a ton of ingredients in here, and I'm going to go through all of these ingredients because some of them I've actually never even heard of before Anavar here.
Now, to be clear, he is not actually part of High-Tech Pharmaceuticals. He's just a seller of their products. But even at that, you should know what you're selling. With that in mind, let's dive into the ingredient soup. So the first ingredients on any product label are going to be your highest ingredients milligram-wise. And in this case, they're L-cysteine and boronohexanoic acid, which are both just simply arginase inhibitors, aka nitric oxide boosters, which increases blood flow by opening up your capillaries, by vasodilating your blood vessels. And for my bros out there, this is the pump. And what do I think about this ingredient? It's going to be a no for me, dog. It's a filler. Now, if you want the best pump on the planet, I would resort back to my dick pill comment earlier, Viagra and Cialis. Now, this doesn't mean you're going to walk into the gym with a half chub. I mean, as long as you're not playing with it or getting aroused. But I bet you didn't know that that little blue pill was actually designed to reduce blood pressure. In fact, I know quite a few doctors, MDs, who take it on a daily basis because it does that in fact. But when a certain area got aroused, they realized that the blood flowed there quite nicely. So marketing got a hold of it, and the rest is history. It became the #1 pharmaceutical drug on the planet. I recommend you go through your doctor on this one. I'd stay away from gas stations. Then you have creatine nitrate and creatine hydrochloride. This is just creatine, which is that same supplement we all know and love and has been scientifically studied to improve performance by 10%. Yes, that's this one. But why is it in a Prohormone product, and why is it above the Prohormones within the product? I don't know. Filler, L-arginine, like the one we just mentioned above, another pump product. Filler, inosine ethyl ester.
There is actually a lot of conflicting studies on this. Some studies show there's athletic performance boosts. A lot of studies show there's not.
So why is this ingredient in there then?
It's not the primary ingredient in here, so I wouldn't be too concerned about it.
You say it's not a primary ingredient, yet it's above the Prohormone on the product label, indicating that it has more milligrams, a higher dose than the Prohormone itself, and this is a Prohormone product. 100%, yet again, a filler. We're still not to the Prohormones just yet. Adenosine triphosphate, which converts to ATP, aka just like creatine. And we've already seen creatine on the product label, way up, 2 of them. Those were fillers. This is a filler. Let's keep moving. 25R spirostane or spirostane. I'm not too sure on that one, but it's a non-hormonal plant steroid.
They do think that it promotes muscle growth. There's not a bunch of studies out there and research on this.
Oh, so you think it promotes muscle growth? Shouldn't you know? I'm sorry. I'm clearly just going off today, and I've chosen Best Price Nutritions and High-Tech Pharmaceuticals as a punching bag. But nevertheless, filler. And then we finally get to the Prohormones here. Dehydroepiandrosterone acetate, cypionate, propionate, and enanthate, which are DHEA precursors to both testosterone and estrogen, each with a different ester, aka a different time release component, aka they each enter your body at different times. And then you have 5A hydroxylaxogenin acetate, a synthetically made non-hormonal plant steroid with very little evidence. I'm going to go ahead and stop saying the word filler, but filler. Then we have 6-keto diosgenin acetate, a precursor to laxogenin, which supposedly increases nitrogen retention, but there are no studies on this yet. So, well, you know the rest. Then we have 20-hydroxy, I'm not even going to try that, decanate.
I actually had to look this one up. I've never heard of this one. This one has only been used in rat trials, so there's really been no human studies, but it does increase the muscle fiber size in rats.
Well, I do appreciate the transparency at least, but enough said.
And then we have 1-andro, which converts to 1-testosterone, 4-andro, which converts to testosterone, and epiandro, which converts to dehydrotestosterone or DHT. Now, I've covered this already, so if you're interested, go here for a breakdown of 1-andro, or go here for a breakdown of 4-andro and epiandro. Next up is naringin, which is essentially just an antioxidant with one major downside.
It can reduce absorption of some things.
If you need an antioxidant that's properly dosed, I would go with a vitamin C, like an emergency. I take that every morning, but there are a million of those out there. So
the very next ingredient, the 6,7 dihydroxybergamotin is actually like grapefruit extract.
And this one's actually legit because grapefruit extract is scientifically proven to increase nutrient absorption. So not a filler, yay. And the final ingredient is quebracho blanco.
It is the main ingredient of yohimbine.
Some people struggle with this one.
One thing for me is the yohimbine. I don't do well with that. It gives me a little anxiety. It is the last product on the list, but
Now, if you can handle yohimbine and it's properly dosed, which in this case we have to assume it's not because it's the last ingredient on the product, which is a proprietary blend, it would help with ED. But I'll resort back to my Viagra comment I made earlier on this one. Let's go ahead and wrap up this ingredient list in a nice little bow for you. This is a prohormone, objectively, where the prohormone doesn't exist until the 9th spot in the ingredient list. Now, you can look at the fillers and say they're synergistic, and they might be, but we have no idea how many milligrams we're getting of each. And to be clear, I have nothing against High-Tech Pharmaceuticals. In fact, I think they're the best prohormone company out there. But I'm just calling a spade because nobody else is willing to. And though I may have my opinion on fillers, obviously, here's what Aaron had to say about it, which can't be refuted.
Anavar is one of those that I've been questionable about just because the proprietary blends is so heavy in there. But I've had people come in and say it makes them feel amazing and push out power. So I can't tell them that it's not a good product. You know, I have people that come in and consistently buy it and love it.
Let's go ahead and dive into the benefits people have experienced on Anavar. Improved strength and power, an increase in protein synthesis, which is going to happen anytime testosterone goes up in the body. Increased nitrogen retention, which is going to help with recovery, improve performance, give you those nice mean pumps. And you can expect about 3 to 4 pounds of lean muscle gain throughout this cycle. And believe it or not, one person even mentioned that Anavar was a good replacement for TRT. And as Aaron mentioned, fillers or not, everybody responds differently, and some people just absolutely love it. But there are some side effects to watch out for. More facial hair, and your face could change the look of it. It could look a little more androgenic after this cycle because it can increase male sex characteristics. Itchy, puffy nipples, which, if unaddressed, gyno. To really drive this home, I went 5 days without taking an AI just to show you what puffy nipples actually looks like. And I took a Remistane, a single serving, the following day, and you can see the improvement here. Then I took a Remistane the following day after that, and now totally gone. So yes, you are going to need to run an AI like a Remistane here. And something to watch out for side effect-wise with epiandro is it may lead to some hair thinning, but this is all going to be dependent on how long you run it. So with that in mind, let's talk about the cycle length. Plain and simple, this is going to be best for a bulking cycle, anywhere between 4 and 8 weeks. Each bottle contains 180 pills. Each pill contains 1 andro, 4 andro, and epiandro. So it's a rather complex blend. So if this is your first run, I recommend a different product. And be sure you only stick with one product. Serving size is 3 pills a day, so the bottle is going to last you a full 8 weeks. This is one of those products where I see a lot of people taking more than the recommended serving size. I've seen 4 to 6, I've seen 6 to 8. Be careful here. Don't just dive into the deep end. Start with a recommended serving size of 3 a day, and then slowly add in 1 at a time to see how your body responds, because everybody is very different here. As for a PCT, I covered this in the 1 testosterone video, which I will link right here. And if you scroll over to the PCT timestamp, you'll get what you need in under 2 minutes. So I am going to give you my full recommendation as to whether or not you should take Anavar or not. But first, I would love to hear from you. I've got 40 videos planned over the next 40 weeks covering every single prohormone on the market. And if there's a particular prohormone that you're interested in right now, I would love to cover that first. So just let me know in the comments below. As for my recommendation, let's go ahead and circle back around with a conversation I had with Aaron.
I think we can look at a product and break it down, and we might see that there's fillers in there like creatine or nitric oxide boosters with some prohormones. But the reality is, like you said, even if scientifically it's not the greatest thing on the planet, and maybe it looks like you could spend your money on something else, if you've got the money and you trust the company, why not give it a shot?
The only time I'll recommend Anavar to somebody is when it's in conjunction with another product. There's other standalone products I would rather them take on their own. That way they're like, okay, I'm getting 100 milligrams of 4-andro, I'm getting 120 milligrams of 1-andro, something like that, versus here's an entire complex, figure out how each of these compounds is affecting your body as a whole, rather than throwing it all together in one, be like, you figure it out.
And for this reason, I would choose a 1 testosterone or a Sustanon 250 over Anavar. I know this has been a long video, and if you've made it this far, I've got something really special for you. The top advice from the full prohormone conversation I had with Eric Solomon, condensed into 1 minute and 25 seconds. I think you're really going to like it. It's very valuable information because nobody is talking about this. Enjoy the clip.
25 and below, I'm not going to recommend a prohormone post because they don't need it. You're 16. Why are you doing this to your body? You're not even done growing.
Can we blame Sam Solik?
Oh, that's definitely a contributor to the equation. If they're adamant on it and that's what they want, I'm not going to tell them no. but it's not my first recommendation because, their body is still adjusting and setting, like we said. Build a foundation for years. Take what you do intelligently, and it's a slow process. Adding Prohormones in accelerates it a little bit, strength and size physique-wise. However, it's not a miracle product. It's helping somebody who's already pushing for greatness.
If you can't have an honest conversation with someone about the Prohormone with comfortability and confidence, you're not ready yet.
An important decision to make that takes a lot of thought, time, prayer, whatever you need to make your decisions. Do it intelligently informed, and that's why we're here talking.
Until next week, stay safe and stay swole, my brothers.
You are now in the presence of a